what you were saying about the rush of being on stage, I know you've cut yourself some slack from that. I hope you didn't suffer too much from the guilt of loving
No.
the attention. I mean, being young and ambitious, wanting that attention and fame and money is what drives the majority of young people, as you know. And at some point in life, something occurs, having a baby, getting married, uh, having big failure in business causes us to seek more well-being and balance in our lives. So tell me a little bit about the Jodee today on, I guess, the differences from getting up in the morning and looking for, loan origination to today and your responsibilities and some of your interests. Maybe speak to the difference a little bit.
I would say the difference is definitely more balanced than I was 13 years ago, pre my daughter coming into my life. I remember being literally in labor, and I had my computer and my phone with me, and we're still, come on, really? And my doctor walked in and said, "When do we get a break, Jodee? When do you just get to calm down and not do anything?" And 2 days of being in the hospital with my daughter, he walked in, and I was asleep with Chloe. And I swear that was a pivotal moment in my life, because he looked at me and said, "I don't believe it. I think we're finally here. There's no computer. There's no phone. You're in the moment." And I was so passionate about running my company and helping originators get better that I really didn't even I enjoyed my pregnancy. I loved being pregnant, but I even got clearance to go 7 months pregnant to Las Vegas to still speak at Stephen Marshall's event. I mean, and my husband had to go because that was the only way I could get clearance and from the doctor. And it was just looking at that balance and looking at today. I get up in the morning. The first thing I do before I get on my phone is I meditate. That's my start of the day, because I think ground yourself, center yourself. It's not for everybody, but it's definitely for me.
How long do you meditate
I brain
for?
dump 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
10 minutes. Sometimes I'll go longer, but as long as I get 10 minutes, I feel like I'm good. Yeah. I would love to sit there for an hour if I could, and then, working out and having that balance has always kind of been part of my platform. And just being more present for my daughter, especially with COVID. Kids are going through a lot, whether they feel like they are or they're not. They're not with their friends as much. They're sitting at home on their computers all day. And in our industry right now, when you look at how much time we spend on our computers, it's really hard to shut your home office down, because clients are texting, they're calling, they're emailing, and everybody knows you're home. So you have to set the boundaries. And that's the one thing I've done in COVID is I've set a boundary to, if someone really texts me at 7 and I need to answer it, I will. But if I happen to check email and it can move to tomorrow, it goes to tomorrow's calendar, because you'll never stop going through the inbox. It'll just keep going.
Is there a time where you turn off the devices? Is there a time where you turn off the devices and refuse to look? So you hear that notification of a text coming in. I mean, my wife is a high producing loan originator, and I just watch it. We need our time, but I see that phone 10 feet away, and I hear that thing buzz, and my coaching all the time is turn off the notification. What has to happen at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night that can't wait till Monday morning, or at least tomorrow morning? And there are things, realtors need answers now. Customers are stressing and they need answers now. But to your point, you need now as well. You need to spend time with your family, your spouse, and children, and read. And it's your learning time. It's your rest. Some people work out. But do you actually turn off the device?
I don't turn it off, but if it's a friend, I answer. If it's a realtor, unless it's a pre-approval, I won't answer it until the next day or Monday.
How do you know what it's going to be?
you can see just the first few lines of it.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll open it if it's long, but if it's something like they want an update on something that can wait until Monday and you can't do anything anyway to find, I won't respond, because I think you have to have the boundary in place that you have to somewhat have an office hour. So I look at it based on how high is the urgency of this. And if it's not urgent, I don't answer it. And email, there are weekends I won't even open email.
That's
unless
great.
I know my assistant is working and he needs me out of respect for him, I won't open email, because I think that downtime is so important right now.
Well, I think setting expectations up front help, because I think your real estate agents, your business partners, your customers, when you explain kind of your lifestyle and how you've structured, and at 7 o'clock, I want to be, I want to be able to rest, to be able to give you more tomorrow. I want to spend time with my children. I want to spend time with my spouse. I think real estate agents and customers will respect that. And I know there's, there'll be moments where they don't, but I think if you could bring them back to, hey, remember I told you I'm not available at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. That's when I have date night with my husband, or right. That's when my child and I do homework, or whatever it is. But I stress setting the expectations up front with everybody, because I think they need to know your game plan, because there's nothing worse than a realtor thinking that they can call this loan officer over here and they'll pick up the phone. Of course they will, but they're not as good as you. And that's
Right.
and you just got to have that faith, I guess. It's not easy.
It really isn't easy, but I think honestly, you can help a lot of your good agents who you've worked with for a long time. I think if you partner with them with that mindset, they will thank you for it, because they need the balance too.
Exactly. Coach them to doing the same things you're trying to do, and you're adding even more value. Like Mr. or Mrs. Realtor, you don't have, I know you feel like you have to be doing this, or they're going to go to another real estate agent. At the end of the day, if you lose that deal, and you won't, but if you do and you lose that commission versus your relationships, you end up having regret because you didn't spend time with your children. You start having anxiety and burnout and stress. Is that worth your commission? It's I don't know. To me, as we get a little more experienced in our industry and grow in our lives, it becomes obvious. It's tough when I'm coaching 27-year-old loan officers in our company to think about well-being and life balance and stuff. They're like, what?
What?
I only need to sleep 4
I've
hours a
been there.
night. I think
I've
we
been
all
there.
have. Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
for women, I'm going to speak to Katie for a second. I love you, but I'm going to speak to your wife.
okay.
Women nurture in this industry. They nurture their clients just like they do their spouse, their children. And it's a very difficult thing for women sometimes to create that separation. I mean, I've been called, you're like a mom in mortgage, which I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment.
That's a compliment.
When the client's my age and they're telling you that. But on the flip side, it is a compliment, because it shows that, and I'm sure Katie's the same, she looks at a client like she would her own financial portfolio. I want to do the best for my client. But you have to somewhat create a separation to where you don't become the parent of the transaction. And it's a hard thing to do, because clients are going to do what they want to do anyway. If you tell them they can't finance $1 million home and they can only qualify for 9, but they can get hard money and do it, they're going to still do that. We saw that in 2008. We'll see it today. It's just part of the plan. So to your point, I think establishing that boundary keeps your professionalism and your expertise in a higher light that people will respect. And if they're going to jump ship, they would have done it anyway.
Totally agree. I totally agree. And you made a point in how you've worked, and I mean, Katie's like that too. Her joy, her true fulfillment in this business is delivering just a phenomenal experience, and underneath that it's education, and it's that comforting, because it's understanding it's a stressful time. It's having empathy for that person obtaining a home loan. It's a stressful, often nightmarish problem for somebody buying a home or refinancing their home. It's the loan officers that can have that empathy and help with that guidance, and make the experience so much more enjoyable, that have a lot of success. It blows me away that we've learned about that 30 years ago, customer service, the customer experience, all that, but oftentimes we get in that transaction mode, and you're starting looking at your commissions, and then they start filling up with, your loans, and now they're transactions, and you got this to do, that to do, this to do, that to do. But if you can always remain focused on the experience of the customer, and get your assistant and get your processing team and the underwriters all focused on the experience of the customer, your business will explode just on them coming back. As I'm not saying anything you don't know. Um, so, so you're about balance now, but what are you doing? Because I know that you're still driven and ambitious. So how do you keep that, playing hard, keeping balanced, with strategizing, for and building your future? Because you're going to live a long time.
I think I'm going to. I feel like I am. It's a tough question, but it's just discipline. It's discipline that I make a list every night for the following day, because I look at things from a balanced perspective of I need to brain dump the night before. And I just made this mistake this week. Sunday night, I did not write a to-do list for Monday morning. I went into yesterday and it was like I was swimming upstream. And I thought, I'm never doing this again. I just got caught doing other things and I didn't take that hour to plan. So I would say one of my balances, plan, because if you plan, the business plan annually, reviewing weekly and monthly, and regrouping and resetting, because things change in your business plan throughout the year. So my advice would be, number one, business plan, especially we're at the end of the year right now. Do your plan for next year, break it into monthly, break it into weekly, break it into daily, and look at your task list every night and say, okay, what is from top to bottom, what's high level, medium level, and low level on the urgency. Have your list of what needs to be done the next day, because when you're focused and you go into, call it the Tuesday morning, and you know exactly what's on your calendar, what needs to be done, start with what is urgent and make your way down. And then for emergencies that come in, and they will, things start to fall apart, docs are drawn incorrectly, you can pivot and create the change in that without it completely taking over your day. You hope you can. And then I have an end point every day. So what doesn't get done is going to move to the next day. But unless it's urgent, it's going to move over to the next day if it doesn't get done. Because having a start and a finish is just, you have to have that to maintain a balance. There's no other way around it. And the other thing I'm finding with COVID, and I was just sharing this on a call with our company, turn your phone off and close your email when you are focused on one loan or a client call or whatever, if you're doing a podcast, because clients are so anxious right now that they will text you, email you, and call you within 3 minutes. And if you're focused on something and you move to that text, it takes you 10 minutes to come back to what you were doing.
Yeah.
And I've trained my assistant, my processor, to do this as well. If we call each other and we don't pick up the phone, we see a missed call, we'll call you back. You don't even have to leave a voicemail. But I think, planning is crucial, and you just have to have the discipline to know exactly what you're doing the next day before you get up. And if it means getting up, and I started this when Chloe was born, I would always get up at least 2 hours before I knew her clock was going to wake her up, because I felt like I needed that jump start in the day. And if originators can kind of get in and get a ton of work done with emails before everyone else logs in, your day is just off to a roaring start. And that's what I do, is I get up and I kind of get started with my day, and then I spend at least 30 minutes before most of the staff gets in sending emails for updates, because those are quick triggers that you can check off and you're done. And then you're just managing to make sure it gets done, but you're not in the problem at 10 a.m. trying to get docs out when you should have sent that email at 7 a.m.
Wow. That's really good. Yeah, I've learned to, I actually view my day now as 3, maybe 4 days. So, I make sure I sleep 8 hours, and I call that, a day. But the first part of my day, when I wake up, ideally at 5, lately with COVID, it's more by whenever it's time to get up, I get up. But generally by 5, my first day is all about me. So it's mental health, and that's meditation. It's doing some journaling, and that's when I look at my goals. It's getting a workout in for my health. And the other thing that I found, that when I'm off, it's because I'm not exercising, or I'm not reading and learning. Those are the main things. So after my workout, I'll sit down and either listen to a YouTube video, or some other people's videos, just to learn a little bit, or I'll read an article, or listen to a podcast, or read a book. And so that's the end of day 1 in my day. And then day 2 is the priority work thing. So for me, working on me and my brand, Partners Mortgage, and building the company, like what inside of that, it's recruiting and coaching. And so I have priorities of business that I have to do regardless of, the day. And then my third day in the day, is more about, putting out the fires, returning emails, returning calls. And that program I've been doing now for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and it's worked best. And it's working really well with the help of COVID, actually, because there's not the rush to have to take a shower and clean up, and I could throw on sweats, get my day done. I could do some Zoom calls and get that part done. And so anyway, that's my 2 cents.
I like that, though. I like the breaking it apart.
Well, it gives me a new start. I could see, like, okay, I really messed up today, even though, now I'm starting a new day. So I typically I go 5 to 9 is day 1, and 9 to 1 is day 2, and then 1 to 5 is day 3, and then my evening starts, and then sleep. So it's no different than time blocking. It's just mindset, right? It's okay, in this part of my day, I have to be working on these 2 or 3, 4 things. This part of my day, I have to be taking care of myself. It's just as you're realizing, it's all our mindset. It's how you get your book done. It's how you get your meditation and workout done. It's how you spend time with your daughter. It's how you enjoy and become happy. It's all in our mindset.
Yes.
So I guess, what's next for you? Do you have any big, hairy, audacious goals that you want to become held accountable for?
I am pondering, as I'm working on my business plan, I'm pondering another book.
Yeah.
Pondering it. So I'm thinking of doing one more. I love writing, and my absolute dream, I really do. My absolute dream is to always originate, because that's my bread and butter. It really is. I love working with clients. I truly love what I do. But I really want to be more involved in writing with books, and I would love to get published in bigger magazines to just help spread financial literacy, because I really feel that it is one piece that is lacking so much in our country, in other countries now. I think people just need basic financial education of how do we cut expenses? How do we rebudget and reset? I mean, there are so many resets for clients, and I hope originators hear this, that there's an opportunity to reset with every single client. When they buy a home, they have to reset financially. If you buy a car, you reset financially. I mean, there are triggers. If you have a baby, you have to reset financially. Taking the time and understanding how to do it is pretty basic, but people have never been taught that in a classroom. It's not a course that's offered anymore. So I think as originators, please take it, swipe and adapt, and start using it with your clients. You know, even realtors use it. Take that opportunity to help embrace and grow people, because I want to give back more of that now, especially with all the years of experience.
I think the way to do it, Jodee, and you just said it, you know, years of experience. I mean, keep sharing your journey. That's, you know, a wealth of knowledge, right? Think about all the experiences, just a few that we talked about in this last hour is, I mean, that's a book. I mean, I know you don't think, oh, nobody really cares about, no, they do, and how they apply it to different things, but it's how you went from, you know, this child and through school, and then how you started your career. There's stuff that happens there. I mean, there really is that started forming and developing, you know, your brain a little bit, and parenting and being married and staying in shape and mindset. And those are all the things that I think people would find a lot of value from you, for sure. I know I do. So anything else? So how, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, I know they go to Amazon to get Digging Out. How else can they get a hold of Jodee?
JodeeBrydges.com is my website. And I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Twitter's my least favorite for some reason. I'm not a big Twitter person.
Not a tweeter?
But Instagram. No, I'm not a tweeter. Believe it or not.
Are you on TikTok? Are you doing TikTok?
No,
TikTok?
No. I refuse.
I call it TikTok.
I like it. I like TikTok better.
Yeah.
But I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Of course, RPM, I'm on their website. But I think for mindset, it's easier to remember JodeeBrydges.com. And it connects you to email me or write me or ask me any questions. I'm always happy to help. Absolutely.
That's so great, Jodee. Well, I want to thank you for your time today, and it's great catching up with you. And you know, I'd love to stay connected and you know, keep inspiring each other. You know, to keep doing what we do. I really appreciate your time, and it's been, you know, great catching up with you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's just so wonderful. We go so far back, Dan, and I know we stay in touch on social media like everyone else, but it's really an honor to be here today and to be with you. So thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll talk again soon.
All right. Sounds good. Say hi to Katie.
All right. Thanks, Jodee. Have a great day.